everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, a WIP Chat is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress. You can pull out whatever it is that you are working on and work alongside with me. It can be a house project, it can be another craft project. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. I've had people tell me that they are listening on their drives to work or while they're doing errands or laundry or cleaning up around the house, whatever it may be. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. If you've seen that I've done a couple WIP Chats on this canvas, I haven't been working on this canvas like overall for a really long time, but I've been working on it more sporadically than I'd like. Besides, like, the ear pain and the not feeling great for, like, 2 months at this point, I tweaked my neck, and it's like, can I catch a break? Can I catch a break? Anyway, if you guys are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and other crafting-related content. I would love for you guys to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's be friends. If you've been here before, hey, welcome. So I'm going to get into my week, and I just want to address two things. Right now, with the current state of the world, if you guys are watching this in the future, I know it's weighing very heavy on my heart, and I know it's weighing very heavy on a lot of other people's hearts, but the situation in the Ukraine, if you don't see your favorite creators addressing it, just know that for the most part, it is affecting everybody in their own way, but some people may not be speaking up about it. I will say, I am also, I don't want to say I'm a crocheter because, like, I feel like I've barely crocheted at all recently. But I've been seeing people are posting links to Ukrainian Etsy sellers. So every little bit helps. But I just want to say, you know, I know some people think that if nobody's addressing it directly, that it means they're ignoring it. And that's not always the case. Sometimes people don't have the words. They don't have the right words. They don't have the wrong words. They just don't have the words. And my heart goes out to everyone. My family is has roots in Ukraine. So that's all I'm going to say on that, because I want to share with you guys what's going on in my life and allow you guys to process everything that's going on in your own way. So, I just want to say, before I get, like, super into my WIP Chat, that one of my biggest pet peeves, which I know, especially after just mentioning what's going on throughout the world, some people, I'm sure, are going to be like, I can't believe that bothers you, or, you know, whatever. But everybody's entitled to their own pet peeves, and I'm trying to see if I can find this color while I talk to you guys. If the audio gets weird, it's because I'm leaning closer to the camera so I can find the color I need, which I think I just found it. Yes. One of my biggest pet peeves, and we live in the internet age, so I think that's why it bothers me so much. If somebody posts a question, it doesn't even have to be me. Don't answer the question if you don't have an answer. And also, okay, let me see how to word this. If I'm asking a question online, just answer the question I'm asking. So if I say, for example, hey, I see that so-and-so restaurant changed management and their phone number is no longer working. Does anybody have the new phone number? Don't tell me, oh, you should try this restaurant down the street instead. I didn't ask you for that. I asked if anyone had that phone number. Yes, I know we live in an age where you can Google everything, and there are a lot of people who post questions or comments online where your immediate thought is like, why didn't they just Google that? But I had a situation, and it's like a really minor thing, but it's just the responses to it are pissing me off, to put it bluntly. if you guys have been following along, you know that I've talked about like the journey of my daughter and potty training and how it's been a very difficult one for us and our family. And I know I'm not alone at all. But I'm at that point now where I'm tired of, like, if I ask a question about something that people want to give me their advice on something I'm not asking. So I put up a question in my local mom group specifically about the pull-ups that we are working with right now with my daughter. Now, I am not a fan of pull-ups. To each their own. For me, they are basically just more absorbent than underwear, and they're just a more convenient version of a diaper. However, we are going out of town in a few days, and we are going to be out and about and trying to deal with public restrooms, diapers, changing tables. It's a lot. And I know the majority of our day is going to be spent using public restrooms back and forth with her. And I pulled out the cooling pull-ups that my OT has recommended. We've tried these before. They didn't work for us before. But for the convenience factor of her being able to just pull them down and then pull them back up if they're still dry has made it seem more accessible, I guess, for being out. So that's what we're working on right now. However, if you've ever seen a diaper, not all of them, but most of them have a stripe. The stripe goes like around from the pubic area up to the butt. And it's on the outside of the diaper, and it changes colors when it gets wet. And I promise my whole WIP Chat is not going to be about this, but I need to lay down what I'm saying so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. So the diapers, when they get wet, they change from yellow to blue. Now listen, if your kid has like a big fart, it'll change the color of the stripe. Meanwhile, I'm over here literally dunking these pull-ups into a container of water because I cannot tell for the life of me when they change color. Or how they change color. Like, it's not like a regular diaper. These ones specifically have Beauty and the Beast on them. And there's a rose in a circle on the front that it makes you believe that's what's going to change color. Okay? So I posted the photo. And honestly, like, I'll post the photo here for you guys. Maybe you guys can help me. My question was, what am I missing? And are these defective? Because, so the photo that has the 2 diapers in it, or the 2 pull-ups in it, that one has one that is brand new, fresh from the package. And the other one, my daughter told me, was wet. I cannot verify that because I touched the inside of the diaper. There's also a cooling panel. The reason we're using these pull-ups is because there's a cooling panel. And the cooling panel is supposed to help her recognize that her pull-up is wet or her diaper is wet, whatever. And to help her understand those sensations and feelings. That's the long and the short of it. So she tells me that it's wet. The flower on the front does not change. I can't tell that it's wet, but like I can't tell my daughter, no, you're wrong, because what if she's right and I just can't tell? Okay? So I am asking the group, like, are these defective? What does it look like when it's supposed to change? Now, mind you, we've had these for a while and we've tried them before and they were not successful, so we put them away. But we're going out of the house while she needs to potty more and more now than, when we first tried these. And it's a pain to go from the toilet to the changing table and then go back and wash our hands and do all these things. So, all these people are leaving their comments with, first of all, their tips and tricks on how to potty train, which I didn't ask for. And I was in a situation where one person told me, well, if it's not bothering her, then just let it go. And I'm like, that's not the point. The point isn't to let my kid sit in a wet diaper and like one day she'll learn how to pee on the toilet. The point is, how the hell do I know when this specific device, whatever you want to call it, when these are wet, so that I can, change her out of it. Because if the pull-up is dry, we'll let her pull it back up, just like underwear, and so this one woman's telling me it's not a big deal, and I'm just like, okay, I think I didn't specify how old my child is. I think that people are probably assuming I have like a young toddler. I don't. And I really wanted to respond with, I'll keep that in mind when my daughter gets rejected from another preschool and can't sign up for summer camp. It's more than just, I'm trying to figure out how to get these pull-ups to work. It's me figuring out the best method for utilizing these pull-ups, because I feel like at this point I'm going to have to just wear them and hope that when she tells me that they're dry, and when she tells me that she thinks that she went pee-pee in it, that I take them off. But I don't know. I cannot tell. And so, like I said, that first photo was one that she said was wet, one that was brand new out of the package, and then the second photo is one that is completely soaked. When I tell you guys that I have been dunking these into the sink trying to I cannot for the life of me figure it out. But then this one other person who I know in real life, I've met her. I'm not friends with her. I don't personally care for her. I don't know if she realized it was my post. I don't care if she did or not. But she made a comment implying that I was stupid. And I responded by letting her know that I'm well aware of how these work. And I'm not an idiot, thank you very much. And she erased the whole thread. Listen, I'm going to just put this out here. I know I'm a little bit older than some people who are growing up in the internet age here. I've had access to the internet since I was young. However, that's not necessarily the case for a lot of my peers. But keep this in mind. If you say or do something that's wrong, it's offensive, it's rude, and you erase the comments, that's not the same thing as apologizing. You're trying to make it seem like there's no blame to be had because the conversation doesn't exist. Which is why you have people who screenshot every conversation they have with people. I'm not that person, but I'm just saying, like, this whole thing today, all I'm asking is about the pull-ups. If I get one more damn piece of advice that I didn't ask for, it's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. And I know people who are not in a similar situation might see this as, I might be overreacting or whatever it is. But when I tell you that we have been actively trying to potty train for 2 years now, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I literally mean for 2 years, we have actively been trying to potty train. Of course, we pull back because you don't want to overdo it. You don't want her to have a negative response or reaction. But at the same token, if I'm not asking you for your advice, please don't give it to me. And that's true, not just for me, but for anyone. Like, unsolicited advice is like a stinky fart. We know it's there, but we don't necessarily want to address it. Like, don't. And that especially goes for new parents. If they're not asking you, please don't tell them. Don't tell them that, oh, you think the newborn phase is bad. Wait until they're X, Y, and Z years old. Oh, you think that's bad. Wait until they're teenagers. Because there's nothing that somebody in that position can do. Like, don't do that. And I am at a point now where I've come to the conclusion that we, as a society, are so quick to praise parents when they do the 3-day potty training and it works, or their kid is 18 months old and they're on the potty already. That's amazing. And I'm not taking away from those situations. Like, if you were one of those people who could potty train your kid early, or you were one of those people, like my sister literally potty trained herself as a kid. She told my mom she wanted pretty underwear. My mom bought them for her and she never had an accident after that. But not every kid is easy to potty train. And not every kid is going to be successful on your fail-safe methods. And I think it's about time that as a society, I'm sorry, I know, I think it's time as a society that we stop just praising the people who are having a really easy time potty training, whether it's because their methods work or they have a kid that gets it. Because then it makes the parents who feel like they're struggling that they're doing something wrong. And I'm tired of being told, well, just do this. This is a fail-safe method. Oh my God, let her go without underwear. Let her go without pants. Let her wear underwear. Let her do this. Let her do that. I've tried all the things. all of the things. And there's nothing wrong with my child. My child isn't less than her peers because she's not quite there. And it's very, very frustrating when I'm doing everything I can as my parent, as her parent on my end. And people want to tell me the methods that are going to make my kid pee on a toilet instead of just answering the damn question about the pull-ups. So that was my tangent, and the reason I'm bringing this up first is because it's on my mind right now. I'm like super annoyed that I have to go through this every time I put something up. And it's not just me. There was another local woman who put up a thing. She was really struggling to get her child to potty train, and I just said, I want to point out that it's not as easy for every kid as most people make it seem like it is. So if you had a kid that was easy to potty train, like, I'm so, so happy for you. But please note that whatever worked for your kid is not guaranteed to work for someone else. If you looked at my daughter's potty chart for the week, because we are offering her a reward as one of the methods that everyone says works that we've tried before and it hasn't worked. You can see the day my daughter gave up because she knew. My husband said, if you can go potty at least 5 times a day, every single day for a week, and 3 poops on the potty, that you can get this specific toy that she wants. It's Marshall from Paw Patrol, but in a jet. And she really, really wants it. And then we had a conversation that, like, look, kiddo, you haven't even attempted to sit to poop. And you have 2 days left. So unless you plan on pooping multiple times, you know, we're not going to be able to get that toy. And you can see, she just gave up. She just stopped. She went like twice the next day because she knew, well, now I can't get that prize. And I know someone's going to say, well, why don't you like keep it going so that she can keep wrapping it around? It's easier for her, she's 4, to understand visually the Sunday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday, whatever days of the week it is, because she can see it all in a row as one thing. So that is my super tangent, whatever you want to call it. I hope that you guys are doing well. I'm just frustrated, if you can't tell. And you know, it's fine when people tell me like she'll get it in her own time, which I know she will. But I'm tired of watching my child miss out on opportunities. I can't sign her up for summer camp. I can't sign her up for sports camps. I can't sign her up for a lot of things because she's over the age of 3 and not potty trained. Oh, okay. I'm actually going to pour more out. So, last Sunday, we saw, if you guys haven't heard all of the drama of, like, my neighbor, and having the cops called on her, I'll link that WIP Chat for you guys up in the eye. But there was somebody, like, buying her table, which I'm hoping is a sign that she's actually going to move out. She posted on our Facebook group for our development that her house was for sale, but I've seen no for sale signs. And I also, whatever the dynamic is that's going on in that house is very, very weird. So, but I hope that she just gets out of here. I'm tired of her. I'm tired of the dogs. I'm tired of all of it. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I'm having really hard time, like, auditory processing overload is happening, like, and a lot of it has to do with her dog. Like, her dog is barking all the time. And, like, when I say all the time, you guys, I don't mean, like, a couple minutes here and there. I mean, there's days where the dog will bark for hours on end. The one day it barked for 3.5 hours in a 4-hour time span. To show you, like, how few breaks I had in that. And it was just like, oh my God. And they don't walk the dog, which is probably one of the reasons why he barks all the damn time. But this day, my daughter really just wanted to, like, hang out with me, which is super fun. Because sometimes, mommy is, like, enemy number 1. And other times, most of the time, mommy is enemy number 1. But she just wanted to hang out with me, and that was cool. And interestingly enough, I keep questioning if this child actually went to sleep or not. I'm gonna guess no, because she was rambling a few minutes ago. But I tried to win a doll a handmade doll. If you guys have not seen it, I will link the Sweet Ann Maid unboxing up in the eye. Sweet Ann Maid is a mom based out of the Pacific Northwest, and she makes these handmade dolls. They are absolutely unbelievable. She has two kinds of dolls. She has her heirloom dolls, which include tactile hair and hand embroidery, and they are a pretty penny, and they're unbelievable. If you guys have ever seen the daddy doll of my husband, that was from her. Her waiting list is like 2 years out right now. Like, it's unreal. My custom spot is coming up, but now I don't know what to do, because the thing we were originally going to do, my daughter's not really into anymore because I've been on the waiting list for so long, which is totally fine. Like, no, I have no problems with it. I'm just pointing that out for the story. So, if you guys know what Deal or No Deal is in terms of, like, small shop stuff, I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. Just tell me how much you want for something, and if it's in my budget or I can swing it, then I'll be like, all right. But Deal or No Deal is exactly what it sounds like. You put down your offer, and they tell you yes or no. Some places do it differently. Like, some places will literally respond. Oh, she is awake. Literally respond to each bid and say no, or people will just keep bidding, and then after a time frame, it goes to the highest bidder, or the seller can say no deal and counter, and then you have an opportunity. So I waited until the last like 30 seconds to bid my final bid, which came in at $4 above the person who didn't appreciate it. And she made this huge deal, tagged all the admins, said my bid came in the wrong place, it wasn't in the time frame, blah, 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 blah. And because of all the drama that this girl was causing, the girl who did the Deal or No Deal, she said, you know what, I'm just going to hang on to the item. And I'm like, even if this chick was pissed that my bid was still higher than hers. Like, if you were willing to pay more, you should have put a higher bid. And I'm so upset because it was implied that I had it. And then one of the admins got tagged and was basically like, oh, well, since we didn't specify this in the beginning, now the poster has the opportunity to say, you know, they can just say no deal instead of like, here's the counter. And so when I tell you guys I was devastated, this was an Alice in Wonderland custom that somebody had gotten very recently, that had tattoos embroidered on her, had gorgeous hair. Now, here's the thing. Yes, I know you're thinking, didn't you just say you have a custom spot coming up? Yes, I do. But I would feel very odd requesting a custom that somebody else already got. It's not that I'm not original, but like, there's only so many different ways you can do Alice without it seeming like you're like, okay, I just want exactly what you had. So I was so upset. And I was like, because of this girl, like, I didn't even get a chance to counter. And like, I bid higher than you. Which, by the way, my time, they looked at the timestamp, and I was well within the closing time of it. And it just pissed me off that, like, this girl pissed him on. And like, then the admins were telling me this girl is nothing but annoying all the time. She questions everything all the time. And I'm like, if you know that she's problematic, then how come you guys let her in here and let her rile people up? I am definitely thinking I'm going to have to change this placer out soon, which I hope is not the case, because disorganized Lindsay over here has no idea where I put my big old bag of multi-placers. You guys, look at that. That is like chewed up. It looks like there's a booger in it, but it's just a piece of green resin. Excuse me. So Monday, we got B up in the morning. This kid had 3 whole bowls of yogurt. 3 bowls of yogurt. Also, I was smart this time around. We gave her a Lactaid before we gave her. If anybody has any really good yogurt recommendations for non-dairy yogurt, let me know. Because I think if I know she's going to eat yogurt to the extent that she's eating it, like I'd like to get her like a coconut milk or almond milk or Ripple milk, whatever plant-based option. And before anyone's like, oh my god, she needs to have dairy. My kid's lactose intolerant, you guys, so she still gets dairy, but as far as I know, Lactaid doesn't, I don't know if they make it or not, but I don't think at our market they sell Lactaid yogurt. I think they do make it, but I haven't seen it at ours. I had my doctor's appointment and I finally got drops for my ear, and like one of the first things he asked me was like, do you struggle with anxiety? And I was like, shit, man, what gave it away? Totally burst into tears. So, okay, kind of heavy conversation here. Okay. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know to what extent. My mother is currently in the process of getting on a kidney transplant list. My mother could live the rest of her life and never need a kidney, or she could go into kidney failure and need a kidney or dialysis. There's 4 children in my family. I am the only child that has the same blood type as my mother. I am the only child that would be a potential match. And of course, I would be willing to give my mother my kidney if she needed it. And yes, I'm going to cry through this because this is weighing very heavy on my heart. I have to get blood work done, which, you know, I kind of expected. It's a new doctor. There's things that run in our family history that you know, they want to check for. I'm overweight, so they want to see if I have diabetes. Like, just regular blood work. Nothing special, nothing specific, just, you know. So, we were talking, and it hit me really hard. And I talked to my brother, and he keeps reminding me that it's okay. But I didn't realize how much it's weighing on me that if I do have diabetes, if I do have a thyroid condition, if I have literally any other underlying conditions, that my kidney won't be any good for my mom. And I don't want to be the reason that my mom's in kidney failure, that I can't save her. And I didn't realize how much I keep this in the back of my mind and think about it until I was talking to the doctor. Sorry. I shouldn't apologize because, like, this is, like I said, this is something that's really heavy and I needed to get it off my chest, but, you know, I haven't had this conversation with my mother because, first of all, I don't want my mother to feel bad. And like I said, there's a chance my mom will never, ever, ever need this. Ever. But I don't want to feel like I'm letting her down if my body's not in top condition. And so, you know, besides the fact that I am deathly afraid, I have like an actual, like, real phobia for needles. You know, one of the other reasons I'm scared to get the blood work back is because I don't want to let my mom down. And it's a hard place to be in because I want to do everything I can to help my mom and to support my mom. And, I don't want to be the cause of any of her health struggles. And I know, like, there's somebody out there listening to this right now being like, Lindsay, it's not your responsibility. It's not your fault. It has nothing to do with you. But it's just, like, in a weird way, like, I want to make my mom proud. I don't know. It's just, it's really, I didn't realize how much this is affecting my mental health. And I can't even say anything. I mean, I can say something, but why would I want to upset my mother for something that hasn't happened? Like, it'd be different if she asked me for my kidney and I said yes when I didn't want to. There's Briar, by the way. You guys hear her. Comedic timing, right on point, kid. Oh, right on point. But anyway, the doctor gave me some medicated eardrops, which I just realized I forgot to take again today. He said there's no infection anymore. The ear is just red. My mother is yelling at me, telling me I need to go to an ENT. There's no fluid. There's no irritation. It's just red. So I'm going to continue to use these eardrops. And then when I see him again next, we'll have a conversation as to what the next steps are, if there needs to be a next step. But I'm like, damn, Mom, like, get out my butt. Let me take a sip of water here real quick. So I still need to get my blood work done. But I had texted my husband and I was like, look, I'm going to go treat myself to a Shamrock Shake because it's that time of year again. And I'm going to go pick up my medication. And off I went. And I went to the pharmacy and they're like, oh yeah, it's going to be a, 20-minute wait. I'm like, okay. And the McDonald's is in the same parking lot as the pharmacy. And so I went over after I finally got my meds. And they were like, oh, we don't have any Shamrock mix. And I'm like, cool. You guys, I was like, could this day get any shittier? Like, all I wanted was a Shamrock Shake. And then I thought about it later. I was like, damn, there's an Arby's down the street. And they have one of those, like, Andes mints. Which I love. Shakes. But I just... like when it feels like nothing wants to go your way, that's how it felt that day. And while I was waiting in line for my meds at the pharmacy, the underwire in my bra snapped. I was just like, damn, like, I know they say that things come in 3. I was like, please don't be anywhere. And then we went outside and played some t-ball with Briar, and we had some tacos for dinner. It was a great day. And then Tuesday, we went ice skating. There was a new little girl in our group. Her dad is a very nervous dad, and he was talking to Brian, and it's always funny when you get a new parent in the group that, especially like when you have those parents that like they want to hover, but then if their kid falls, they do the these are little kids. When they fall, they get back up. They do pretty well. So his daughter was doing really well, and she's same age as Briar. Most of the kids in the group this session are the same age, but I love when we have new kids join the group. But the one instructor both the instructors weren't out on the ice yet. And this one little girl, who I think she's actually the youngest in the group, she's bigger than the other kids, like, so she seems older, but she's younger than them. And like when I say younger, like they're all about 4 in this group, so it's not like, she's multiple years younger than them, but she was out there and she like basically took over and she was telling the kids what to do. We're talking about a little 4-year-old. You can see she's like, okay, go over here, do your spin on the circle. Then they all scatter off and they follow what she says. And it's very funny. Her dad said at home, she's like, I am the queen. She's got older siblings. So it didn't surprise us that she took that role until the instructors came out. It was so funny though, you guys. Like, I love just seeing, and not a single one of the kids questioned it. They were like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll go do the exercise. And then we went to Best Buy, which was oddly busy for it being a Tuesday in the middle of the day. Briar did really well. Towards the end, she was done. But I can't be mad because, like, I had to wait a very long time to have anyone help me because they are understaffed like the rest of the world is. Not going to complain about that. And then they had, like, a crazy amount of people. I'm a little bit upset because I took home the computer that I purchased, and it absolutely does not have the app, even though it showed me in store that I could download it. It turns out, if you're using a Microsoft device, I guess it doesn't have to just be Microsoft, but in this case, it was a Microsoft device, and I was looking in the Android Play Store that when it's searching for it, it's just searching for, does this Android device or app exist in the Play Store, not does it exist for your tablet. And I did not realize that it, because I took it home, obviously. When I looked for it, it showed it was available. I click on it. It's now connected to my Gmail account, and then it's showing up as, oh, well, you already have it on this device and this device. Not, oh, it's available to download on this device. And I did not know, and so now I have to go and return that, and I'm still shit out of luck because I still don't have a device that I can use. Technology is not my thing, and now I just spent a crap ton of money on a device that does not work for me, and now I don't know what to do, and I don't have, like, I don't have the kind of time to hang out at Best Buy as a family, but I know if I'm there alone, I will be taken advantage of because I'm a woman, and also completely clueless. Not that my husband is any better with technology than I am. I mean, he's a little bit, but not significantly, but I'm less likely to be taken advantage of when I have a giant 6'4" man on my arm than if it's just little old me. The woman who helped me was great. We had a super creepy guy at one point, and I almost texted Brian to come over, and he just was like interjecting into my conversation, and he was like, oh, well, you need this and this, and you can get this, and I was like, okay, dude. Which, by the way, his information was not correct, but also, like, I'm having a private conversation with the woman who helped me, which, shout out to Haley, you were awesome. But, like, my conversation wasn't for you to be listening to, and it sure shit wasn't for you to be offering me your unsolicited advice. But I could see it was making her uncomfortable. It was definitely making me uncomfortable. We had a conversation about it afterwards. And I don't fault her for the reason that the equipment works or doesn't work for my specific needs, because, you know, if you go into the Play Store or you go into your app store and you see that the thing is available and it says it's available for download, at least me, I'm not going to assume for everyone, I'm going to assume that they meant it's available on the device I'm searching for it on. Not any device that's connected to the account. And that's what happens. And that's why I took it home thinking it was going to work. And then when I went to log in, I was like, well, that's interesting. So I don't know. I have to return it. Obviously, not what I need. And I got to get that soon because I don't want to lose my return window. You ever have, like, totally misgauge how many drills you need on something? That's me here. That's me, y'all. This is such a cute canvas. Which, by the way, I have no idea what I'm doing for March. There's a couple events that I'm interested in participating in. I've been moving very, very slowly this year between not feeling well and just, like, life in general. So, I don't know. I have 2 events, like, 100% that I'd like to participate in, and, like, given, like, a normal month, I can get 2 canvases that size done, but, you guys, it's taking me forever to do anything, because I can't sit for that many hours anymore. Anyway, so, we did that, which, by the way, total side note, if you go to Best Buy, the carts are horrific. Okay, I know the bottom part of the cart is made to be very long, so you could put, like, large boxes for, you know, televisions, large appliances, things like that. And the basket itself is very small, but it's very high up, so it was, like, hard to see over Briar. I kept hitting things, like, displays and stuff. I was like, ooh, whoops. So, total side note. And then I booked a surprise vacation. Now, my family knows we are going on a vacation. They do not know where we are going or what we are doing. and I don't want to share it here yet, but stay tuned because next week's WIP and Chat will definitely have a little bit about it. It'll have a lot about it, I'm sure. I would love to vlog. If you guys haven't seen it, I did a vlog when we did camping. I'll link that one up in the eye if you guys are interested in that. Vlogging is an interesting thing. If I showed my daughter's face, it would probably be a lot easier. But having to cut her out of things and also make it still seem cohesive was not easy. And I had to do a ton of like physical editing so that I blurred out her face, and it was just more of a task than I was really ready to take on. So I don't think that I'll be vlogging this time around, which I hope that you guys enjoyed that. That vlog was fun. It was a fun way to share with you guys a little bit about what we did, but I'm very excited for this trip. I'm very, very excited. So my husband is not easy to surprise, and I had to obviously ask him if he could take the time off from working, so he knows we're going somewhere. He's going to figure it out at some point because he's going to be driving, and he's going to be, because he even said to me, he goes, are you going to just tell me where we're going, or are you going to give me directions? And I was like, well, I guess I'll be your navigator. Because if I put it in his phone on his Google, he's going to see where we're going, which defeats the purpose. I'm very excited, though. I'm very, very excited. And it was funny. Like, Briar, I got a brand new t-shirt in, and she folded it up and walked away with it. And let me tell you guys, it took 3 days for us to find it. It was hidden inside her Mickey RV, which is like a little toy. It's not even very big. Wednesday, we went to the post office. We went to Dunkin'. We did Kinder Music. Now, the post office, Dunkin', and Kinder Music are all, like, within a mile of each other or something like that. So we did that before Kinder Music so that my husband could drop off the packages. Most of the time, he gets in and out of the post office. So we ended up with a lot of extra time, you know, because we had to factor that in, and then it literally took him like 30 seconds at the post office. In case anyone is curious, or if they're new here and they haven't heard me talk about it before, my husband does all of his business by going to the post office. We don't schedule pickup because our mail carrier that comes to our house, not the one who works at the post office, has zero respect. Zero respect. We've watched him like literally dump a whole box of packages on our doorstep and like run away. Like ding dong ditch, basically. So things that my husband has spent many, many hours on making that cost a pretty penny, it's not worth it for us to just put it on our doorstep and schedule a pickup, because we need to make sure it's in good hands. And so he prints his labels, he goes to the post office, they scan it in to make sure that, you know, everything's good. With the shipping costs and the weight. My husband has a mail scale. I don't know what you're going to call it, but it's not quite as accurate as the post office. So if the post office says, okay, this is actually a little bit heavier than what you have it listed as, he might owe additional postage, which I don't think that's ever happened. However, they have given him money back. I know what you're thinking. USPS gave money back? They sure did, you guys. If you do your shipping through Pirate Ship and they notice that there's an overage, they will refund it. Which Pirate Ship is a third-party company, and it's fantastic. Not sponsored. What else do we do? We went to the taco truck. So, look, it was a gorgeous day. We had asked my mother-in-law if she wanted to see Briar. It's been a while since we've seen her in person. We have not been inside her apartment since before COVID, and she lives in like a senior housing community, so everyone in her building is a senior, and, you know, I just didn't feel comfortable going in there if one of us was a silent carrier. anything like that. I just wanted to make sure everybody was the safest they could be. So we asked her if she wanted to go get tacos with us, and she, according to her, doesn't like tacos, which I'm like, you probably just didn't have a good taco. Like a real authentic taco, oh my god. Which is what we got. So we went, and this place is absolutely amazing. It's like a 40-minute drive from our house to a taco truck. You guys, it is worth every second of the drive. They have amazing food. Briar got hers, and she said it was the best taco she's ever eaten in her whole life, which says a lot and also doesn't, because she's only 4, so, you know, what does she know? But also, your girl loves some tacos, so she was pretty impressed. And she's been there before with us, and we enjoyed it. And then I let her pick out a drink with me, and she picked out a Mexican soda. She picked out a pineapple. And that was the first time she's ever had soda in her life, but I knew she wasn't going to be drinking the soda. She was going to take like a couple sips of it to try it and be like, ooh, that's cool. And she just loved it. She had such a good time. Mine came with the consomme, or the meat juice, as I explained to Briar, and she kept trying to dip her taco into it, and I was like, girl, get out of here. So I got this little kid in the back seat of the car. She's sitting in her car seat. She's not strapped in or anything. They are somehow like in a wind tunnel. It is insane how crazy windy it is down there. I don't know. I'm not a physics major, anything like that. But she was funny. She was sitting back there, and she just kept dipping, and so her pants ended up like covered in these little orange spots from the meat juice. She loved it though. It was great. We had a really good time. They're in an old Kmart parking lot, and I don't know. I mean, I imagine they have to be allowed to park there because there was a police officer in the parking lot. Do I know if he was enjoying a taco or not? I don't. But I figure if they were doing something like illegal, they wouldn't have just let him keep making tacos. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was so good. Oh my god, you guys, so good. I should have gotten pictures. I have gone before, and I've tagged them before. But if you live in my area, I'm telling you, go look up the El Gordo taco truck in Ephrata. 'Tis amazing. I just definitely butchered that. My canvas, not the taco truck. What else do we do? Oh, so after her nap, we went to my mother-in-law's, and we were gonna go play some t-ball, but it had, like, the whole day just ended up being windy, and it got really cold by the time it was after nap. So we opted not to play t-ball because of the wind and the cold. My mother-in-law was very cold already. It just wasn't worth it. And then we went to dinner. Briar decided she wanted to go to Friendly's, which worked out really well because there is a Friendly's down the street from my mother-in-law's house. We went. They took off the tuna super melt off their menu, and she was not happy about it. And apparently I had to make a phone call at one point. My husband said, like, the whole time I was outside, that's all she was complaining about, is that they didn't have the tuna melt anymore. But we were talking to the waitress the last time we were there. We had the same waitress, and she was telling us that they're working on these like regional menus, so they're trying to see what does well on each coast, and then they'll kind of combine them and make one new menu. So if you're going to Friendly's and you're wondering why the menu is totally different than it used to be, that's why. That and like food costs, they need to, if they do something that hamburgers, for example, well, there's multiple hamburgers on their menu. So having ground beef is an ingredient they can utilize in multiple ways. But also they can utilize it for the stroganoff pasta and this with ground beef in it. The tuna super melt, the tuna was only being utilized for the tuna super melt. So I imagine things like that are one of the reasons why they eliminated certain things off their menu, because they need them to be able to do like double duty. The chicken crispers. No, that's Chili's. The chicken fingers, whatever it's called. They use them in multiple meals as well. So, and we had the best waitress, you guys. She was really just fantastic. And then the next day was like one of those days where like Briar just didn't want to listen to us. That's the day she realized that she wasn't going to be able to win her toy. Which we told her, you know, if you still do it, we'll still get it for you. But you have to, anytime you feel like you have to poop, you have to sit on the potty. Because if you don't, you're going to run out of days. And, you know, I have a feeling if it's taking us this long to be able to pee on the toilet, good Lord, I can't imagine how long it'll take for her to poop. And like this one thing, like, her one teacher was like, well, when it comes to preschool, you know, well, do you know when she normally poops? And I was like, well, yeah, but knowing my luck, she's going to poop 3 minutes after getting to school instead of her normal time. I don't know. But we went to a preschool open house that night. And I went in and, listen, no shade to anyone who sends their kid to any sort of preschool. I never in my life thought I was going to be sending my kid to a preschool that didn't have any accreditation, that had people who didn't have degrees in early childhood education. But at this point in our lives, I'm running out of options here. And we went in, we met with the head teacher, we talked to her, you know, we let her know a little bit of like what's been going on. And she was like, oh, you know, well, we really can't change them. And they really do have to be potty trained. And I'm like, look, it's written into my kid's IEP. If you don't know what that is, it's an individualized education plan. And it is written in there that we are working on this. And these are the tools and tactics we are using. But if a school has a strict policy, there's nothing that I can do. And it sucks because it is written into her IEP. And if my child had a different diagnosis, quote unquote, which I hate saying that, then they'd be more willing to work with them on certain things. Because children are not one size fits all. Children's needs are not one size fits all. So I'm talking to her and I'm not feeling very confident. And she's like, well, we can have a meeting with the teachers and we'll let you know how that goes. And I'm like, okay, left it at that. And honestly, at that point, my emotions were so heightened because I was like, do I ask how long it's going to take to have this meeting? Is someone going to call me? Like, how does this work? Because I also can't guarantee that if my kid is not potty trained in February, that she will be in September, or, you know, like I can't guarantee any of that. And I didn't want to spend money on a deposit for a preschool and then be out the money. We're still on the waiting list at Head Start. I am not feeling good about it at all, in any way, shape, or form, at all. So, talking to the one teacher, she's telling us, because it's in a gymnastics studio, so she's telling us that they actually take the kids downstairs to let them run around, get the wiggles out, things like that, which is great for me. And my daughter used to take gymnastics at this studio, but she was on the younger end of the class, and so the older kids would be like, well, how come Briar doesn't have to follow the rules? And I'm like, it's not that Briar doesn't have to follow the rules, she just doesn't understand some of the things that were going on, because she was only like 1.5. And then we were going to come back, and then COVID hit, and that didn't happen. So the one teacher tells us, oh yeah, there's another room over there, and that's the STEM room. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I go into the other room. First of all, it's like 15 degrees cooler in that room, which, you guys, it was so hot. It was so hot. We were melting in there. But we were talking to the teachers. One of them is actually married to my husband's cousin. And I think that may have actually played into our favor a little bit here. She had said, well, the science teacher had said, well, let me grab the head teacher and we'll have a conversation about this real quick. And I'm like, okay. So all of the teachers go out into the hallway, and next thing I know, they come in and they say to me, Lindsay, we would love to offer a spot to Briar in the fall. And I burst into tears because this is what I've been trying to, accomplish for what feels like forever. I let them know I live 4 minutes away. If there is any situation in which my daughter goes to the bathroom, I can come and change her diaper or her pull-up or her whatever. And they told us, like, they have kids that have accidents all the time. They can clean that up, but they're not allowed to change the diaper. And I'm like, okay. It's not my place to question. I know that this is the way it is. And that's the thing that's frustrating, is that this has been the thing that's holding my kid back. Something that's completely out of her control. Something that she's actively been working on. And I hope and pray that by September, she is completely potty trained. But I don't know. And I don't want to say I'm hopeful or anything like that, because I really don't know. I really don't know. My daughter understands how to use the toilet. She uses the toilet every single day. It's just a matter of, like, she doesn't ever want to be pulled away from whatever it is she's doing, which I've told her a billion times that, like, if you're watching your show at night, because she gets her one episode of TV at night, we can pause the show. If you're playing with a toy, you can come right back and finish playing with it. Like, it's not going to end just because you had to go potty. And I think the combination of sensory stuff, fear of missing out, and just being a total stubborn, hard-headed little kid, it's definitely been quite difficult and quite the journey for us. And I'm overwhelmed with emotions because I'm very, very excited that they are holding a spot for us. They did let us know that the spot, is reserved if you put down the first months. If you put down the first and last month, you don't have to pay a registration fee. But if you only put down the first months, or if you put down both, the last month isn't refundable. So if for some reason they change their mind and they say, you know what, we actually can't have a kid in the classroom who isn't potty trained, or if something changes with Head Start, then, I don't want to be out all the money. So Friday we had a play date with my girlfriend and her son. It's really, really sweet to watch them together. He is autistic and labeled as nonverbal. However, that's not the right phrase. He's, as his mom called it, non-communicative. He can talk. He just can't have a conversation with you. And to watch him say a few things, like, to Briar while she was there was so sweet, because I know how hard that is for him. And I had let her know he's recently started using a communication aid. And I said, I don't know if he'll be using that when you're there or not. But the biggest thing I tried to explain to her was, even if he doesn't answer you, he can hear everything you're saying. He understands everything you're saying to him. He can hear you. He can understand you. He just might not have the capability of being able to answer you. And that's a very difficult concept for a small child to understand. And she got so excited because she's like, he can talk to me now. And we had a conversation about it, that maybe he can, maybe he can't. But if he can't answer you, we still play with him. And he still understands what you're saying. And so, like, every little thing she would do, she would offer it. Jack, do you want to come do this with me? Do you want to play with this too? Do you want to share? Do you want to turn? Do you want it after me? And it was so sweet to watch the two of them play together. The last time they played together was kind of a while ago. And even though they're friends, they both seem like they've grown so much since the last time we interacted. And it was really the sweetest thing to watch. And she told me when we left, he was at the window waving to her, saying, bye, friend. And, it broke my heart, because the first time we played together, she said, thank you guys so much for treating my son like he's a normal kid.
And I said, he is a normal kid. His brain just works a little differently than ours does. And it's so, so sweet to watch their friendship blossom. She talks about him all the time like he's her best friend in the whole wide world. And he very well could be her best friend in the whole wide world. But it was something else. And we were hoping, because he has a limited palate, that maybe watching her eat some foods would open it up. He was snacking all day. Like, he was doing a really great job. She was doing a really great job. It's really a joy when you watch two kids play together, especially when one or both of them have their own challenges, because that's where you can see the sheer innocence in children. She doesn't look at him and say, well, how come he can't do this? Or why does he do something like this? Instead, she's just like, okay, cool. He's my friend though, right? Like, I can still play with him. And it's like, absolutely, sweetheart. You can absolutely play with him. And it was a wonderful, wonderful play date. And I think we all needed it. All of us. Brian was there. I was there. She has two kids. They were both there. You know, everybody just had a really lovely time. And we watched the return of the original Law & Order. If anyone's watching, let me know. I'm a little bit surprised that NBC is doing all three Law & Orders, Law & Order SVU, Law & Order Organized Crime, all back to back. Because that seems like a lot of Law & Order. I mean, it is. But I enjoyed it. And then the next day, we just had a lounge day. We had a family Zoom. My one brother was on, who is never on. So it was nice to see his face. It was good to hear that some of my family might be coming in this summer, because I haven't seen them all in ages now, with everything that's been going on with COVID. My nephew, poor kid, he's a teenager, broke his elbow. So it was just one of them days. But I think that this is a good place to end. So I'm going to put down these last three drills here and say my farewells. If you guys have made it this far, please, what do we want to leave look, this is very sunshiny. So leave me a fun, bright emoji. It can be weather related, it can be whatever else. Just something bright and bold and fun. I cannot thank you guys enough. I posted something in my stories the other day on Instagram, which if you're not following me, all of my information is always listed down below. And it was a thing about how stop telling mothers that you don't want to hear that their life is boring now, because all they talk about is their kids. I'm totally paraphrasing it. Because in all reality, most people who are stay-at-home parents wish they had more exciting things going on in their life, and they had more to talk about than just their family and their kids and their day-to-day. So for everyone who keeps coming back week after week to hear those stories of me being a mom, of my family stories, my life, things like that, you guys have no idea. No idea what that means to me and how much I appreciate that. So here are some heart hands for you guys. I love you guys so, so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more content like this or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. While you're there, hit that notification bell. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record while she is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so, so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!